Welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. For today's video, we're going to do a comparison between these two Casio watches. One is the G-Shock GA2100 and the other watch in comparison for today is the Edifice EFS570D. Now these two watches, they have sort of gained a reputation, alright, and the nickname's CasiOak. And obviously this is a reference to the Royal Oak Genta watches kind of design that they're named after. And we can see all the resemblance here. We've got the octagonal bezels, and on the 570 we even have this screws going on. Not exactly on the bezel, we've got screws here on the case. So I think we can definitely see the resemblance in terms of build quality and refinement. They're nowhere near, that's for sure, but at first glance you will definitely see that these watches, they are heavily inspired by the Royal Oak. So despite all the similarities in terms of designs between these two watches, they are very different when it comes to fan following and the different number of models. Since its launch back in 2019, the GA2100 has gained a very special place in G-Shock's collection. So since its launch, the GA2100 has earned itself a place among Casio's classic designs. The GA2100 has a place alongside three other models, namely the 5600, the 6900, as well as the GA1100. So these are the four masterpiece classic designs in the G-Shock collection. And this is the youngest watch in the lineup. Alright, among the four models, this model is only about 6 years old. The rest are about 20, 30, 40 years old. So you can see how much fanfare or how much love the GA2100 is getting. On the other hand, the EFS570D launched in 2020, just 1 year after the GA2100. It doesn't have much fanfare. It is very under the radar, very low-key model. To date, there are only about 5 different colorways. Not many people talking about this one, despite the fact that this is actually a really nice watch. We are looking at things like sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. We're looking at very nice finishing on the case, solar powered, ultra slim watch here, but it does not get much fanfare. Nobody talks about it. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 areas where you will find differences between the GA2100 and the EFS570 CasiOaks. Point number 1, I feel that the fans are spoiled for choice when it comes to different colorways, different designs, different collaboration models for the GA2100 as opposed to the EFS570. So this one here, we are looking at hundreds of different colorways, different design, different strap options. But for the EFS570, we're looking at about 5 models, 5 different plating and all that. So I can see why fans would prefer the GA2100 for the different types of colorways and dial variations. For point number 2, we are looking at different displays for these two watches. The GA2100 has analog and digital display. Now granted, the digital display here is very small. You need very good and healthy eyes to be able to read the digital display here. And for the 570, this is an all analog chronograph. So no digital display going on here. In terms of practicality and actual usage, I can see why the GA2100 is more useful. It's actually easier to use the functions here because of the digital display. Alright, it's definitely easier to read the chronograph timing and countdown timing and all that, as opposed to this one here, which is full analog. I seriously don't know how anyone wants to use this for timing their runs or lap times or anything like that. So obviously this has the upper hand in terms of actual usage. Point number 3, we are looking at the main difference between the materials used for these two watches. The GA2100 being a G-Shock, the first or original model is an all resin watch. So we have resin for the bezel, the watch head or the watch case. resin strap, and the core of the watch is a material known as carbon core. I'm not too sure what kind of carbon is used, but I guess it's some sort of a gel material to protect the module. So this is a really big difference when compared to the all stainless steel EFS570D. So this thing is all metal, all steel. Of course, it's done in really nice finishing and all that, but again, this is one main big difference. So for daily wearing and I don't know, for activities and all that, you might want to go with the resin watch. So for this one, if you scratch up the strap like what I did here, you can easily replace the strap for not a lot of money. But for a stainless steel watch, if you were to knock it against the shelves or the doorway, I think you will get a very nasty looking ding. Either live with it or you might have to find a replacement watch. Point number 4, it's a carry on from point number 3. So when we are talking about the differences in the materials used to build these watches, we're also looking at the durability of these watches, and how tough they are. So this is a G-Shock. The answer is clear, right? This thing is meant for heavy duty use, tough use. You can use this to work on your motorcycle at the garage, go and do some heavy lifting when you're at work. You can use this for sports, go for a run. The sweat doesn't do anything to the strap or anything like that. It's not going to scratch up the watch. On the other hand, this one being all stainless steel with all the nice finishing, I think there's a need to baby the watch if you want to wear it. It's unlikely you're going to wear this to do tough work. Tough work could mean things like shifting things at the supermarket for Singaporean context. So I don't think you want to do sports activities with a watch like this as well, full bracelet and all that. For point number 5, we are looking at the size and wearability of these two watches. In terms of actual size, both watches are built as 44mm size. But I think they both wear much smaller than what the specs would suggest. So the main difference here would be wearability in terms of the weight of these two watches. We're looking at about 51 grams for the 2100, GA2100 CasiOak on the original resin strap, and unmodified bezel comes in at 51 grams. This is amazing, all thanks to the carbon core found inside the watch case. And for the EFS570, we're looking at a watch that comes in at around 130 grams with bracelet unsized. So if I were to remove a few links, maybe 4 or 5 links, it might come in at under 120 grams. So still a very big difference when it comes to the overall weight of these two watches, and that is definitely a point to consider. Another factor would be the overall thickness or the thinness of these two watches. The GA2100 is by no means a thick watch, coming in at around 11.6 millimeters thickness. So this is unheard of for G-Shocks. Most G-Shocks come in at around 16, 17, 18 millimeters thickness. The GA2100 at the time of the launch was sort of a groundbreaking design. The thinnest, or one of the thinnest G-Shocks around, under 12mm. Even the 5600 models, they were around 13 point something millimeters thick. So for the EFS570, along with the EFS108, I think, so these two models are the super ultra slim designs in the Edifice collection. The chronograph here, the 570, comes in at around 9.8 millimeters. So again, the overall thickness and the wearability is yet another area for consideration. I very much prefer the thinner watches. But for daily wear, I'll definitely go with the GA2100 for its durability and the overall toughness. So there you have it. That was my comparison between these two watches. Very similar in terms of the design language. Obviously, these watches are inspired by the Royal Oak or the Genta design, octagonal bezel, 12-sided bezel, whatever bezel, alright? So I'm just really surprised that the 570 is not getting enough fanfare, right? And I guess it's a mixture of the reasons that I've mentioned before. So from the many different dial color and variations to issues or concerns like toughness and durability, I can see why the GA2100 is getting more fanfare, more attention from the Casio G-Shock fans. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you next week for more watch review videos. This is Andy in Singapore. Bye.